What up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. Making it do what it do. You already know what it is, man. Thanks to everybody for being patient. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, share. You know what I mean? Like, this is what type of time we on. And yeah, just to break the ice a little bit. The show is kind of like basically, we're gonna be talking about beats. We're gonna be talking about life transparently. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just having conversations, learning techniques, things of that nature. You know what I mean? So, definitely give us a shout. Make sure you share some stuff. Hold on one second. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we are live. And I'm sorry I was late. You know what I'm saying? I was just getting this new setup set up here. So I hope you guys, you know, are definitely digging the stream, digging the vibe. You know what I mean? I know we had some technical difficulties last week, so I've been working feverishly on making sure that the stream is definitely clean and you get good audio and all that other good stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a learning curve, So I respect a lot of the guys that are doing the content creation and things of that nature. I'm not necessarily one that kind of like does a lot of streaming, but I'm going to start getting into it. I'm going to start trying my hand with it, and yeah, man. Let me see. Got to try to keep a tab on you guys here. Sorry about this, guys. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, just trying to see if I can see you guys here real quick. Turn this down. Gotta have that coffee in the morning. I know you guys probably having your coffee going on right about now. Let's see here. Let's take a look. Forgive me again. I'm just trying to see you guys. Well, hopefully you can see me. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Let's see. Good deal. Good deal. Let's see if we can see some chat here. There we go. There we go. Now I got it. All right. So basically, like I said, once again, you know, here I'll put in Okay. 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 Cool. 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 All right. So I know that took a few minutes, but I had to make sure that I could see chats that are coming along and see how we're going from there. And hopefully you guys can see things going on. Let's see here. Let's take a look. All right, all right. Okay, good deal. All right. Let's see here. See if we can catch up here. All right. Yeah. I know it's a lot of airtime in between, but yeah. Today's show. And just so you know, we'll have guests coming on soon. So make sure you stay tapped in with that. But um, but yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 All right. So today's show is us going over old classic software that I've tried to put this on display a few times going live, but couldn't really get it off like we were supposed to. But yeah, yeah. This particular software is what we call Acid Pro. So there we go. You know what I'm saying? Like Acid Pro is a software that I started out with quite some time ago. You know what I'm saying? This is actually one of the very earliest softwares that that we that we learned, back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and it's beautiful to see that it still exists around today. Now, for the most part, what you're looking at here is the main window of Acid Pro. If I raise up this part on the bottom here a little bit, you're going to see on the left I have the Explorer. That's where I can actually go search and look for sounds, loops, you know, things of that nature. We can play VST instruments in this thing. Um, you can really do a lot of things. You can chop samples. You can do pretty much everything that you could do with today's popular DAWs. Now, personally, in this day and age, I like to use Reason. They're up to Reason 13 now, right now, and I like to use MPC, which I have an MPC here, a standalone. I also have an MPK Mini. I was about to say Mini Plus. No, this is just an MPK Mini Mark III, and I have an MPC One Plus, and that's where I normally do my creations. But the beautiful thing is that the software here can actually house VST instruments. So if I go in my plugin manager here and I look at my SoftSense, down here in the bottom, you may not be able to see it on your screen, but I'll call it and drag it up in here. And then I can actually use MPC in this. Now, sometimes I notice that the uh, the screen for MPC doesn't necessarily want to pop up in um, in Acid Pro. There's certain little glitchy things about Acid Pro that still exist from back in the day. You know what I mean? Existing, as they exist. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's no software that's absolutely positively perfect. You know what I mean? There is no software that's completely, foolproof. You know what I mean? Like all of them have something that'll cause you to say, "Hey, you know what? We're 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 um we're having some difficulties here." You know what I'm saying? We're having some difficulties, and we're not getting where we need to be with it. And yeah, it's crazy like that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It is. Uh, yeah, and for the most part, dealing with some of these older streams, these older, I mean, DAWs. I'm sitting here tripping because I'm trying to live stream and do all this other good stuff, checking chats and checking live streams and all that other good stuff. And yeah, and it's just like, hey, real interesting stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, getting back to Acid Pro, as you can see, it's on the screen here. And like I was saying about MPC, if you go in here, like, see, at first it's not gonna show you MPC until you like kind of like delete something. And it's really crazy because it's like you'll look for the screen, you'll be like, dang, where's the VST of MPC? And unfortunately, it just doesn't pop up all the way like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't pop up all the way like that. It definitely has its issues with popping up the screen. Now I'm gonna try to get it to pop up here for you so you can see it. Let's see if we insert another soft synth. Like, say we open up Labs. Okay, we're gonna open up Labs. Let's see if Labs pops up. Now look, see, all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. You may not be able to see this, you know what I'm saying? Like, but on my end, the actual interface of MPC has popped up. The interface for MPC popped up as soon as I added another soft synth. The interface has popped up, and I can see what you guys are watching. You guys can't see it. You know what I mean? You guys can't see it right now. I don't believe you can. And if you can, let me know. If you can see the screen of MPC, let me know. Just know that it does pop up and you will be able to use it. You know what I mean? You'll be able to use it. It's MPC right now, it's 2.15. So I use that. I use that from time to time. If I'm using another software, I'd still like to keep the MPC workflow. So that's how I'm able to keep the MPC workflow. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to get rid of these soft synths for right now. We're going to get rid of that first MIDI track. And we're going to go back to the general explanation of kind of like how to really get something going kind of quickly. Now, I do have a few favorites here. So if you go into your favorites, you can, quickly access kits. You can access all kind of different types of things. Sorry for bumping the mic. But yeah, you can access a whole bunch of different things from the favorites. You can set it to folders that you like, where you can access, samples, where you can access things of that nature. And so yeah. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to select a loop. And the reason why I'm going to do loop is because Acid Pro was primarily, or Acid, it was Acid 2.0 when I first got it. But it was basically a revolutionary thing back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was the first software where you can actually use loops, which is loops of, people playing instruments and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where this came from. So I see one that I like or I want to try. I'm gonna bump the tempo, which is right here where you see my mouse. That's the project tempo. So I'm gonna bump it down to like 74 BPM, and I'm gonna preview something here. All right, so I called that up. Now it did sound like it had a little bit of an audio issue with it, but it automatically turned it as a loop. Now, how can I get that sound to get lose the lose that kind of like what they call like a little bit of audio, sonic quality. We'll say sonic quality. How do you do that? Well, real simple. You're just going to switch the loop in the clip properties here to one shot. And the reason why I'm gonna do one shot because it's I'm playing it back at the tempo, or I can switch it to beat mapped. Now beat mapped is gonna, reintroduce the sonic quality of that loop. So check this out. Oh, by the way, I do own the license to these loops. These are from the company Cymatics, and when you get loops from them, you automatically get a license, a legal license to utilize these in your compositions as you see fit, manipulate them, do whatever you want to do. Which the nice thing about Acid Pro is you can manipulate loops as well. You don't have to just keep them one in particular way. So if I wanted to just take this and start cutting it up and say like I was chopping on an MPC, I can basically point my cursor wherever I want to. I can just set the cursor wherever. Say I want to do it at measure 2, and then I just use the shortcut S. S will split this by every 4 counts. As you can see on the timeline, for those producers that know, these are the splits that we're doing here. Now I just split it up for each bar. What I can do is I can start to rearrange these, or I can take them and I can shorten them. So if you see this little box pop up right here, that means I can grab it by the end of that section and then I can drag back. So say I wanted to make this repeat itself. As long as it's highlighted and I'm highlighted on this track on Acid Pro, I can hit copy, and then I can point to the next count in the 4 count for that bar, and I can hit paste up here. So which it already did it crazy to me. All right, so now I'm gonna highlight it again, hit copy, back to the second count, and then I'm gonna hit paste. Now you can see it's pasting. So when I play it back, there we go. That's already adding a different dynamic. Hey Nick, thanks for tapping in. Say I wanted to make that pitch on the very last one, the 8th bar, change to a different pitch. So say I want to lower it 2 semitones. All I'm going to use is the plus and the minus on my keyboard. The one that's highlighted is now going to have a different pitch, if you will. So now we're at the 8th bar. Now listen to what I did. Maybe I don't like that one. Let's just keep trying it around. Now I don't have to listen to the whole thing. I can start from here just to see if this works. That was pretty cool. Let's see if we go up one. Yeah, that was pretty cool as well. Thank you guys for bearing with me too, because we're just getting this thing going. But as you can see, we're going now. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It added a nice little dynamic to what it is that we're doing here. Now, since like I used a loop for my melody to start with the guitar. Now I can do globally, I can change the pitch of that as well. How would I go about doing that? What I'll do is I'll go back down here and in my search window and go to the tabs, and as you can see here, we got it beat mapped here down here. I'll raise this up so you can see it better. But down here in this section right here is where I can actually globally change the pitch of that loop. So if I want to lower it 1 semitone, now my whole loop sounds like this. So what I did there is I just took a little section away of the 7th bar and I added the very beginning again by merely just using the pencil tool. The pencil tool will enable you to draw in the loop again at any bar from the beginning of it, or I could copy and paste. I can also right click this and it'll give me more menu options. I can select it in the chopper. They do have an actual chopper in this. You know what I'm saying? And I'll show you that in a second here. But what I could do automatically right now, I want to make it go backwards. Now I can either tap U on my keyboard or I could just hit reverse in this little menu. And what I also want to do, so now I'm going to lower this down. I'm going to horizontally make this bigger and I'm going to zoom in. Because what I want to do is I want to add a fade so it kind of like does that. Okay, so I reversed the 3rd and the 4th count in my bar and I made it go backwards, so it kind of like has like a swell effect. Big ups to the guys over there. These loops are outstanding. And when you have loops, you know, always try to manipulate them, chop them up. This is something that's an old technique of mine. I love chopping up samples, loops. You can sample audio, you can sample your voice. You can sample from all kind of different types of things here. You know what I mean? Okay, so you guys get an idea of what you can do with a loop here. Now, Cymatics does have a bunch of drum loops. They have one-shots. One-shots, what are one-shots? If you don't know what the one-shots are, you know, it's kind of like a one-shot is basically like individual drum sounds or individual instrument sounds. So now in this day and age, one-shots are not just drums, they're instruments as well. First, what we'll do is we'll try a drum loop first, and then we'll go and we'll try something else. So let's listen to a preview of some of these loops. Yeah, maybe not that, but let's go here. Let's try some you know, it sounds almost a little lo-fi like. So let's go into lo-fi and see if we can find some lo-fi drums. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's some drum loops. And of course, it's reading it as a loop, so it has that sonic, you know, imperfection. But if, like, once again, if we switch this from our clip properties over to a beat mapped, which is another feature that's really dope, because beat mapping was the earliest form of time stretching. Me understanding time stretching. What is time stretching? Time stretching is taking, like, say, a loop like that's at a different BPM and allowing it to be at the tempo of my project. So this drum loop is at 85 BPM, but I know my project is 74 BPM. How is it playing in time? Because first and foremostly, does what they call acidized. What acidized is it'll take a loop at a certain tempo, and the program's intelligent enough to read that as a loop, so it'll automatically lock it in as a loop at the tempo that you have. So right now it's playing at 74 BPM, but I switch so I can get my sonic quality back. I'm switching the loop the acid type from loop to beat mapped. So now once I switch it to beat mapped, you'll see that the sonic quality has returned. So let's listen to it with the sample. draw it in again. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of like make it do like a nice little run here. So it's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want my downbeat to kick in again at the 8th bar like this. And see, that instantly turns it from a loop that you heard somebody else create to something that you're creating. Say I want to take it out here. I'm going to grab the box and I'm going to drag that and I'm going to drop it out at the 4th count of the 4th bar. So now once we play it back again, you'll hear it. So right at the 4th bar, I'm going to zoom in so you can see where it's cutting out at the 4th count. That is 4th count. 3. There you go. And see, loop-based production was something that was introduced, like I said, in the late 80s, going into, the late 90s. Let me rephrase that. The late 90s, all the way to now. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. All right. Now that's cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute that and I'm going to show you how a one shot, assembly of like a kick, a snare, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you how I can actually come up with something. Let's see here. I like that one. Right off the rip, I like that one. Now, another thing I should mention is over here on the right, which is the mixing console. As you can see, as I'm adding tracks, there's more tracks. I'll bring this up so you can see it better. But over here, every time I add a track, it's coming into the mixer. So now the one that's highlighted is the one that I just put in there. All right. Now, as you can see over here, if I highlight the preview over here, I don't know if you can. No. But in the far left of the mixer, it says preview where my mouse is. This is set at -9 dBs. So when I call it up, when I add it to the timeline here, it's going to come in at -9 dB, which is okay with me because when we're mixing, we want it to be below, you know what I'm saying? We want it to be below 0 because you got to leave room for mastering engineers to raise the levels up. Now, there's several things I can do here. I can either use the draw tool, which is the pencil, or I can use the paint tool. And I can actually begin to paint my drum pattern in, with the paint tool. So here we go. So we're going to start there. Now say I like that pattern and I want it to continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this to the end. I'm going to right click here and I'm going to select all on this track. Then I'm going to do, once again, copy, point my arrow at the next downbeat and I'm going to hit paste and now it's here again. Okay. So we're going to connect these together. So let's see here. Yeah, that's nice. So it gives that a nice little different break in the monotony. So now I've created my own drum pattern without even using a controller or anything. I'm just painting those in literally with my mouse, and I have one. So let's see if we can just find something like a, I like that. I like that. So let's go ahead and put that in. Now we know if we did those on the downbeat, for those who know very well, we got to put these in on the 2s, and the 4s. So I'm just taking the count 2. I'm looking at the screen to where I can see over here. Like I can take this and move this back some so I don't see it at all, or I can bring it out. Now these windows are intuitive. I can move these around, you know, if I want to see more information, if I want to see more of the timeline up top, or if I want to see more of the mixer, or I can go below and I can separate this. Now it's undocked, but I can dock it back wherever I want, and there it is. Now these windows are together again. So again, I've got it zoomed out enough to where I can just see the 1, 2, 3, 4 in each one of my bars. So I know on the 2s and the 4s is where my snares is going to go. My kicks are going to start on the 1s and the 3s, 2s and the 4s. It's an easy way to remember this. So we're going to go here, and we're going to take a little bit of this out. We just wanted to come in certain sections. So now here goes my kick and my snare. So let's see here. So I just found a hi-hat, and I'm just gonna let this play. Now I want this to go in every semi-count. So I just zoomed in a little bit more so I can paint it in real easy, and I'm just gonna drag and wipe across. Real quickly too, if I want to take that out, you can also hold down right click and you can erase. So what paints? The left click paints, the right click erases, or the left click draws and the right click erases. And I can just grab it and drag across. See how it turns into an eraser? I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a paint icon, now it's an eraser icon. So here we go. Sounded pretty good. Now, we like that. I like that. It's coming together really good. As you can see, it didn't take me very long, even with explaining to you, to get a beat started in Acid Pro. And that's the dope thing about Acid. You can use samples, you can use one shots, you can use loops, you can do a lot of manipulations. You could even beat map. You know what I'm saying? You can beat map. Now, what is the beat mapper? Once again, beat mapping is you also time stretching. So this has what they call a beat mapper wizard. So let me go ahead and just mute that loop. So both of my loops are muted. And now all I have is the drums. Okay, so say I wanted to grab a sample. Like say I wanted to sample something and really turn this into something else. Like for example, I have an account with TrackLib. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with TrackLib. I don't know if you ever heard anything from TrackLib, but TrackLib is a place where you can actually clear samples that are like vinyl samples. So I tend to utilize them a lot because I do have, rights to what I use with that. And I always recommend that you seek out, samples that you can use. So yes, I do have permission to use these. So now I'm gonna go find a sample real quick. Let's see here. Okay, that's pretty cool right there. That's pretty cool right there. And the nice thing about TrackLib is they give you the BPMs. So now that sounds like that would go along with it. So what we're going to do here is call it up, and then now all of a sudden a window pops up for me, and I will be able to use the beat mapper. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it says right here, if you can't see it, I'll read what it says. There's a thing called the beat mapper that pops up. Okay, so the beat mapper has detected that this file has no tempo information, but appears to be a full-length song, which it is. Beat mapping this track will allow you to synchronize it to the other tracks in the project. Henceforth, that's why I said time stretching. Would you like to use the beat mapper wizard on this file? Yes. And so I'm going to hit next. And I know you guys probably can't see what I'm doing here, but if you can, I'm going to go next. And the step 1 says the beat mapper has determined the location of the first downbeat. Verify and change if necessary. So if I wanted to go further down into the song and find another part of the song, I could go find it in this section. So I can preview the sample again. Kind of chopped off the beginning a little bit. So I moved the downbeat. The downbeat, once again, the downbeat is the very start of where my sample is going to start from. So I can change the downbeat wherever I want it to be. So let me go down where it broke down a little bit more, and let's play again. Oh yeah, that's really nice. So I'm at the downbeat that I want to go to. So I like where the downbeat is now. So let's go next. And now what the beat mapper did, step 2 says the beat mapper has estimated the length of one measure. Verify and change if necessary. So the beat mapper was intelligent. It's going to try to give me the 4 count that I need. So a metronome is going to play. Now I noticed that it's catching into the next 4 count, so I'm just going to try to trim it up. Okay, and I can go back or forth in the process, meaning I can go back a step to step 1 and then go back to step 2 if I want to change my downbeat. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's go to the next one. Step 3 says inspect each measure to ensure accuracy, because really what I want to do is I want to make sure that my sample is accurate in case I want to play a longer phrase. Lovely radio, what's going on? Keep it lovely, keep it lovely, keep it lovely, keep it lovely. You already know. Yeah, so this is going to ensure that. Okay, so now I'm going to play this and I'm going to listen to my different bars by the 4 count. So inspect each measure, which measure means bar to me. Bars and measures are the same thing. A measure is in hip hop is a 4 count or a standard 4/4 time, meaning it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my next bar is going to continue on. So here we go. So that's the first bar. Let's go. And as you can see, I'm adjusting my measures. So all I need is 4 bars of that just to be creative. So I'm pretty satisfied where they are, and I can make adjustments on the fly. But as long as I can get it close enough to the point where that metronome is clicking right along, the metronome is keeping me on time with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna go to the final step, and I'm gonna say finished. it will say finished. This file is now beat mapped and will play back in sync with the rest of your project. The options below allow you to further customize how the file is handled in the project. So it's giving me a option which the box is unticked. There's 3 boxes. The first box is unticked already because I have a BPM that is set in my project. But if I wanted to change project tempo to match the beat map track, which made Acid really revolutionary, I could have built my whole entire drum scheme around the tempo that was created from the beat mapper. But I do not want to do that. I want it to play at the tempo that my track is already. So the second box says preserve pitch of the beat map track when the tempo changes. So I can preserve the pitch, or I can get rid of the pitch. Now I can untick that box too because I may want to change the pitch, or I want to preserve the pitch. So we'll leave it on first and see what we do with that. And let's see. And then it says at the end, save beat mapper information with the file. So what that will automatically do is that will take that beat mapped file and it will save this beat mapped information in there. Maybe I don't want to save it because I want to utilize it in a future project. So I won't save the beat mapper information, but if I do save the beat mapper information, it will automatically recognize where I started that and where the downbeat starts and everything. And if I wanted to put it in another composition, I could, and it'll start it right where I beat mapped it. So I'm going to take that box off, but I'm going to preserve the pitch for now, and we're going to hit finished. And now we're back in our main screen. You guys couldn't see that, but because I'm watching too, I can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to paint that in for 4 bars. So now we're going to take all 4 bars of this, and we're going to try to see how well it maps up to our drums. Not bad. And what I normally like to do is I like to make my samples a little bit lazier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo painting that one in, and I'm just going to kind of like take my loop region down here to the first 4 bars because I just want to concentrate on making that loop sound pretty cool. So normally what a trick is I'll zoom in here, and I will take my snap up here. This button right here is enable snapping. What snap does is every time I drag it, it'll snap to each one of these lines. That's what snapping means, if y'all don't know. There's a snap function in pretty much every DAW or digital audio workstation. This one just so happens to have it, and it had it before a lot of different softwares did. So I can snap this to the grid, but if I take that snapping and toggle it off, now I can freely slide this sample. So I'm going to drag it just a hair to the right, just to give it a little different sonic quality, and I'm going to take the end of it and I'm going to connect it all the way back to my downbeat. Now, since I slid that a little bit, I'm going to toggle the snap back on and make sure that it's accurately snapped to all my bars so it doesn't overlap, because if it overlaps, then it's going to start to really lose timing. So that's the beautiful thing about this program. So we'll play it again. Yeah, see, that kind of like fits in what we call a pocket. And as you can see, it almost feels like it's connecting 10 times better. Now, say I wanted to what I did was I just cut off a couple of counts, semi-counts within the count, and I made it repeat right there. Now what I just did is I just dragged it out like a couple of semi-counts, so it did a crossfade. And what that crossfade does is it takes the little pop out of the loop that I created. So, which is pretty cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all on that track, make sure my track's highlighted. I'm gonna hit copy, and I'm gonna paste it, and I did it again. There's a couple little quirky things about this new Acid Pro, but we're gonna try that again. We'll go right back. Now there it goes. Now I'm gonna take my loop region back out to 8. Now you can hear it connected all together. Now I have my full 8 bars. Now you can see I had the same drums that I started out with the Cymatics loop. Now I just turned it around and I actually took a sample from TrackLib. Big shout out. And I'm not sponsored by TrackLib. I'm not sponsored by Cymatics. Just so you guys know as a disclaimer, I'm doing this just so you can see the power. And I'm not sponsored by Magix either. Magix is the company that owns Acid Pro. So I'm just showing you guys for tutorial purposes how you could use this software if you choose to give it a try. It's not that expensive. I think it ranges almost up to about $100 or something like that. And they have different levels. Of course, they have Acid Music Studio, they have Acid Pro, and then they got the Acid Pro Suite, which actually comes with a bunch of different things. But if you just get Acid Pro itself, it comes with a plethora of things. Now, say I wanted to add some effects to my sample to give it a different vibe. Now, I can either add them from here on the mixer down below, where this F is, it's like a little F icon that you can see here. It says insert effects chain. So say I wanted to start doing some manipulating with this, and let's go ahead and add something here. So I hit the little F button here, and you may not be able to see this, but I'm gonna add something to give it a little flavor. So say I wanted to add, we'll go back to a plugin that I use from Cymatics again. This is Pluto. Pluto is a pretty dope thing. It can do a lot of manipulations. It just is a multi-purpose or multi-effects plugin. And with that, I can go ahead and start to shape the sound. Now the preset starts on a preset called Galaxy, so I'm gonna play it and see what it sounds like with Galaxy on. Now I can try a different preset. They got some lo-fi presets in here too. Let's try these. Let's try the one that says Cadillac, one of my favorite cars. I'm gonna own a Cadillac one day. Now instantly you can hear that gave it a different dynamic. So I'm gonna bring the gain of the volume of that sample up a little bit. And you can do this on any channel in Acid Pro, but that really made it sound dope. So I'm gonna keep it just like that. And I'm gonna add something to that chain. So I'm gonna go back into my effects tab. And I'm gonna add some, let's see, what we're gonna add. I like that though. Let's add some reverb here. So I'm gonna go to one of Acid's native plugins for EFX, and I'm gonna add the EFX reverb. I'll give it more of like a hallway, subtle kind of like vibe. I'm gonna try a couple of different presets here. Try Central Station. Now I'm gonna solo that so you can hear it. Now if I add the mix more, it's gonna give it more of a wet feel. Which in lo-fi, you'll hear that a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I think I actually can add some record static here. Now going back to Cymatics, they also have plugins as well, so big ups to them for that as well. But the one that really gives it that that kind of like vinyl-y kind of vibe to it is Origin. So I'm gonna select Cymatics Origin. Now as you can see, it added like a little reel-to-reel-ish kind of vibe to it just for the beginning. Let's go to here. Let's go to vinyl. Wow, that really gave it some really strong vinyl. Let's see what we got here. Pretty cool. Let's turn the vinyl effect down a little bit. So it actually feels like I actually pulled it off an old piece of vinyl. The drums. And I'm boosting the gain of it up a little bit more so you can really feel it under the drums. Now the drums are dry. You can add effects to those as well. Say I want to add some compression to the kick. We're gonna go to the let's see here, EFX compressor. So now I got this on. This compression is on here. Let's see if we have a preset here for drums. That's interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the threshold back a little bit. That definitely gave it a different feel. Let's go to compressor for drums. I like that. There we go. There we go. Kind of made that drum sit out kind of fatter in the mix without it being too overpowering, but I can feel the integrity of the kick. Now we can even add some compression to kind of like squeeze down that snare as well. So I'm gonna use the same compressor. And this is a stock plugin from Acid Pro, just to show you how good some of these plugins are. They really did their homework on that part. Now it does have some glitchy things going on. I got it on default right now. Let's see here. Let's try some parallel compression. I don't know what that's going to do, but we're going to try it. That definitely gave it a different dynamic. So now the snare definitely got a different feel to it. And it's controlled. I'm looking at my meters. We're not clipping, we're still like -6 dB, which is kind of like where you want to be for a mastering engineer to kind of like finish the job for you. And all I did was add some compression to the kick drum and the snare. I feel like I like how it allows the hi-hat to sit out. Now I may even take the hi-hat and pan mix it, which is something that people do sometimes to create stereo separation. So I just put it 23% to the left stereo field, and that just kind of like just made it go into a whole different pocket. I'm gonna bring up the sample a little bit more too. My sample loop that I beat mapped. Now I got it at -6 dB. I'm still sitting at a comfortable -5. That's still good. That's still in the comfort zone. Yeah, this is sounding pretty good. And And I can go further, you know what I'm saying? I can add audio tracks. This does actually record audio. It is a digital audio workstation. So if I wanted to add a vocal track, I could add a vocal track. So I go up here to insert and I add an audio track. Now I have an audio track here. I can make sure that my input is where I need it to be. Check, check, check. And as you can see, I have audio here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go ahead left, because if we keep it in the center, if we keep it, with just the default setting, it's going to record me in stereo. And everybody knows that when you record vocals in mono. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to lay down some audio real quick. I'm going to turn the loop off for a moment, just because I don't want it on at the moment. I'm just going to record some audio, and we're just going to hit record and see what happens. 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. All right, so there we go. And I just recorded that, and I'll hit done. And now, as you can see, my vocal take is in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the arm for record, and we're just going to play back what our audio sounds like here. 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. 1 2 1 2. So I got it on loop for the first 4 bars. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. I'm gonna add some effect to that, just to bring my voice out real quick. 2. Check check 1 2 1. I'm gonna start with Waves plugin. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. This one is the CLA or Chris Lord Algae vocals. So we're just gonna put this on real quick. It is a multi-effects plugin again. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. We're gonna go to 1 2. Let's see here. 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. Keo Avocado, 1 2. Thanks for the follow 2. On Twitch. Check check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yes. So this plugin actually made my voice sound good. 1 2 1 2, and that's without any other processing. 1 2 1 2. Check out Waves plugins. I am not a sponsor of Waves. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. But if you want your vocals to have that quality sound, Waves is one of the companies. 1 2. Also UAD. 2. Check check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2. Okay. So basically, you know what I'm saying, there you have it with Acid Pro. And it kind of like is a software that is very still relevant. I do recommend it if you want to try it out. Go over to Magix.com. Once again, I'm not sponsored by Magix, but this is a software that I've been using since the late 90s. So I'm super familiar with it, and I can teach people how to use it, and it can still be an effective tool for you in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? And, try it out. Even try out the Music Studio. Try out Acid Music Studio first. This is Acid Pro 11, though, that I'm using today for today's little tutorial, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, man. Yeah, that was really fun. I enjoyed showing you guys one of these old classic things. And we'll get into some other different platforms to do music production as we go along down the road. But yeah, we've done our hour. I want to thank y'all for tapping in with me on a Sunday. This is J-Pad the Juggernaut. No, excuse me. That means I'm hungry. I am the Custom Beat King, and this is the Custom Beat Show. And we will be back next Sunday at 11 a.m. We may have a guest. Just stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you have that notification bell on, and like, subscribe, share, And we will see you guys next